everybody. Welcome. It's Lidia Nakazawa here, and today we're going to be getting into some VTuber Newsy news. But before we do, please make sure to smash subscribe, hit the like, ring the bell. And guys, do you know that I stream on Twitch? Head on over to Twitch. And if you're at work, leave me a lurk. Okay, guys, on to our very first piece of Newsy news. This is BAO, and BAO is a female English-speaking virtual YouTuber who's affiliated with United Talent. So why are we talking about BAO? Well, guys, speaking of TikTok, BAO got a little bit of a surprise on her X account. This is posted by BAO, and this is posted on August 27th at around 11:54 a.m. So BAO woke up to this and she says, "What a lovely morning." It says here, "Your account was permanently banned. Your account was permanently banned because of multiple policy violations." And this says, "View your details, download your data, or dismiss." So obviously, not a whole lot of options. There's no appeal process here. So it's kind of crazy. So BAO says, "I got mass reported from that effing Aussie Jazzy video, LOL." So anyways, guys, if you are looking for BAO on TikTok, it looks like she has been permanently banned. As to how long the ban is going to be, it's unclear. There's not a whole lot of details here, but if you are a fan of BAO, just make sure to engage with this post and just send her some love. Maybe if you are able to, tag TikTok to kind of look into this, but otherwise, it looks like BAO is not getting back on TikTok anytime soon, but we don't know for sure, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay, guys, on to our next piece of Newsy news. This is Ironmouse, and Ironmouse is a female American VTuber from Puerto Rico, a veteran in the industry. She debuted in August 2017. In July 2025, she left VSHOJO and is continuing on as an independent VTuber. And this is Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone is an American monthly magazine that focuses on music, politics, and popular culture. It was founded in San Francisco, California in 1967. So why are we talking about Ironmouse and Rolling Stone? Well, it looks like, guys, Ironmouse has made a Rolling Stone list, which is absolutely incredible. So this is posted on Ironmouse's X account. This is posted on August 26, 2025, around 2:46 p.m. And Mousy says, "Thank you so much, Rolling Stone, for including me on the 25 most influential creators in 2025 list. I still can't believe I'm on this list. Crying face heart." So you can see here, this is a screenshot of the magazine. She ranks as number 17. It says, "Puerto Rican Twitch creator Ironmouse may remain anonymous, but she's become iconic for her pink and purple haired avatar and high-pitched squeaky voice alone, which is real," she claims, "as a result of common variable and immunodeficiency complications. The vlogger and gamer is a mainstay in VTubing and the most subscribed female Twitch streamer of all time." And then she says, "I feel like people are embracing VTubers more than ever, and it's really cool to see," she tells Rolling Stone. Aside from streaming, she's also a singer. She's released 2 singles in the past year, as well as being featured on Canadian rapper BB Knows single 1-800-SC. So this is a very, very amazing chart to be on. 25 most influential creators of 2025. So congratulations, Mousy. However, you know who's pissed off? That's right, Mr.Beast. This is a since deleted tweet. Mr.Beast had posted, "According to this, a guy with 1 million followers is more influential than me. What did I do to piss off the Rolling Stones?" Crying face. So obviously this has been deleted. So Mr.Beast had teensy weensy shit fit. But anyways, congratulations, Mousy, on getting the 25 most influential creator roles of 2025 list in Rolling Stones. That is absolutely incredible feat here. On to our next piece of Newsy news. This is Good Smile Company, and Good Smile Company, they make a lot of Nendroids for a lot of VTubers, so they make some very, very cute merch. So why are we talking about Good Smile Company? Well, guys, Good Smile Company has released a statement on their X account. This is posted on August 26, 2025, around 6:11 a.m. And Good Smile Company says, "Notice regarding temporary suspension of shipments to United States due to U.S. changes in tariffs and regulations." You can read here. So this is the link, and it says here, "Temporary suspension of shipments to United States due to changes in U.S. tariffs and regulations." This is posted on August 26, 2025 on their website. "Thank you for your continued support of the Good Smile Company online store. Following an announcement made by Japan Post on the 30th of July 2025 regarding the U.S. government's executive order to suspend de minimis treatment, Japan Post has suspended acceptance of small packets, parcels, and EMS addressed to the United States effective Wednesday, the 27th of August 2025. For further details, please refer to the official notice from Japan Post." So this is mostly for the Americans in chat. A lot of countries have now stopped doing shipments to the United States based on these tariffs that have been introduced by the American government. So you may notice a lot of merch stuff that is not made in America will probably no longer be accessible, or if it is accessible, you will be paying very, very high tariff for that to come in. This is going to be an issue going forward with the tariffs. A lot of companies have stopped shipping into America, so just be aware that this is something that may happen. Okay, guys, on to our next piece of Newsy news. This is Fallen Shadow. Fallen Shadow, aka Shondo, is an English language VTuber, originally debuting independently in 2021. She joined Mythic Talent in May 2025. So why are we talking about Shondo? Well, guys, Shondo has a new model coming up. So this is posted on Shondo's YouTube account. This is posted 1 day ago, and it's titled August 30th, Shondo Liberation. So let's take a look.
It's time.
So anyways, guys, if you are a fan of Shondo, so this is kind of like the little bit of an outline of what to expect. Debut will be on August 30th at around 1 p.m. EST. So if you are a fan of Shondo, please make sure to go check that out. Okay, guys, on to our next piece of Newsy news. This is VSHOJO, and VSHOJO was a US-based VTuber agency headquartered in San Francisco. The company was founded in 2020 by former Twitch employee Justin the Gunrun Ignacio and YouTuber Philip MowTenDoo Fortunat. Some people call him MowTenDoo, MowTenDoo. Same person. So essentially, in July 2025, the company faced accusations of failure to pay talents for several months, as well as withholding $500,000 from charity donations. Within 3 days, the group's members shortly resigned, and founder Gunrun announced VSHOJO shutdown. So why are we talking about VSHOJO? Well, in particular, we're going to be talking about Philip MowTenDoo Fortunat. So he had a couple different roles within the company, CMO and then CTO. Okay, so this is going to come up a little bit later. Why are we talking about MowTenDoo and VSHOJO? Well, guys, this is posted on the Kurosanji subreddit. This is posted by Sleeping Koi, and it says, Google Doki! MowTenDoo shares their time at VSHOJO. So you can see here, this is posted on MowTenDoo's X account on August 26, 2025, around 11:13 p.m. And it says, let's talk about my time at VSHOJO. So guys, the general public opinion is skepticism because he was such a high up within the company that for him not to know about anything is a little bit sussy. But well, let's take a look at the Google document and let's see what it has to say. So it says, my time at VSHOJO, and this is by MowTenDoo. And it says, hey all, before we get started, I wanted to take a chance to thank all my friends, former talent, former staff, and other streamers / industry that I've been in communication with who know myself and my role within the company. You've all been wonderful through this tough time. I also want to thank the many people within the community who have been supportive throughout this time and have stood with me while this all gets sorted. I've spent the following month gathering countless documents and what I have access to in order to have a clear conscience record of my involvement with the company, and I provided a small fraction below. Transparency and misrepresentation. There was once a time where I was extremely proud about what I helped initially build. There was a lot of hard work and planning involved, and I took a lot of pride in my role launching the company, but now I simply feel misled, disappointed, and betrayed by those involved. The fact that this happened at all is troubling to say the least, and I feel deeply for those who were affected by this. If anyone affected needs testimony, evidence, or other material assistance with actions against VSHOJO, I am more than willing to do what I can to assist. I may have documentation or records relevant to the case, and I am happy to see what I have. I have also considered taking my own shareholder action against the company, which I won't rule out at this time. I also have to consider action against those who have engaged in defamation against my character, although I am hopeful that we can resolve these matters privately and amicably. It says, that being said, I was never made aware that the talent funds were intermingled with the company's operating expenses. Any budget that was used for marketing was a direct result of asking for that amount and either being approved or denied. I had extremely limited financial access, only for small marketing approvals, never broader accounts or operations. I have evidence of this from third parties that I have worked with for marketing media while at the company. I have never had access to bank accounts, nor was made aware in meetings about the way finances were being used. What I had been made aware of is the company was running out of money and needed another round of investment to continue operation. As far as my understanding, the only individuals who had access to company bank accounts were the CEO, the COO, and the finance department. Had I have become aware of the financial misuse, I would have exited the company immediately and began to speak with my legal counsel and to the talent about the misuse of their funds. And it says, my role and authority. There are a lot of misconceptions about my role at the company. Some people have stated that I was the CEO or the COO, which was false. The two titles at the company I was assigned were CTO, Chief Technology Officer, and later CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. The change in position was due to an internal company pivot in which the directors of the company assigned the role of CTO to another staff member and subsequently assigned myself to the CMO. I was assigned to these titles, but recently discovered that it's not entirely clear if these titles were legally or formally recognized. In terms of seniority, I was not on the board of directors despite assisting in launching the company. I would also like to note at this time that the entire company was remote and no in-person office was ever in use. It's interesting that they say that there was no office because if you guys remember Michi Mochivi's teaser / debut trailer, there's definitely a lot of like thief spotted in the VSHOJO office here and here and here. There's definitely an office here, but hey, you know what? This could be a set. All right, let me give them the benefit of the doubt. This could be a set. Let's continue. It says, upon recent investigation on registered documents from the company that have been unearthed, I do not know now if I was ever legally considered CMO or any officer title. It was just a title that I was given internally, which is not something that I was aware of, nor would I have found acceptable. Initially, when launching the company, I blindly put my trust into these people that were doing everything correct in terms of structure and finance. In hindsight, that trust was misplaced. Below, I have also attached a series of screenshots of documents from a failed merger in 2024 that only list the CEO and the COO as officers and members of the board that does not include any mention of myself within the company structure. Says Justin Ignacio is the chief executive officer and president of the company and a member of the board and a stockholder of the company who may receive proceeds or other consideration as a result of the merger in accordance with the merger agreement. Additionally, Mr. Ignacio will receive an offer letter from the buyer in connection with the merger on terms that were discussed with the buyer prior to closing. Here it says only the COO and the CEO are receiving an offer letter from the buyer and listed as the members of the board. And it says, summary, for the purposes of the golden parachute provision, the estimated aggregate amounts of payments and disqualified individuals could receive in connection with the merger. So disqualified individuals, Justin Ignacio and Daniel Sanders. Estimated total payouts is $2,528,970, and that's for both of them. So here it says a golden parachute provision is a contractual clause, typically for a senior executive, that guarantees substantial financial compensation and benefits if they lose their job due to a specific event, most commonly a corporate takeover or a merger. Okay, so that's what a golden parachute is. How nice for them. From the start, I felt as if I was always unfairly sidelined in terms of role and influence within the company. Any criticisms I had felt as if they fell on deaf ears, and as time went on, the staff expanded and I felt more and more sidelined within the company. My role in the company more or less began to feel like an employee that just did marketing and a few other tasks when needed, as opposed to someone who assisted in getting everything off the ground. I feel as if there was not a lot of honesty and transparency about certain things within the company, and I now believe that some things I was told were not the truth. Things such as information about talent's behaviors and the reasons for talent's departure was information that was presented to me by the founders. This directly influenced my beliefs and feelings about the talent, and I now believe, based on the new findings, that information presented to me was untrue. There are many projects and pivots that I learned about only after they were in motion or were approved by the board. Things such as a pivot to social media style website service at one point and a full company merger, both of which I strongly opposed, are amongst a few examples where I would be notified subsequently to the work beginning. There were times where I was asked to sign documents without adequate time to get them reviewed by an attorney and told it could potentially lead to my removal from the company. I was told that it was needed for the success of the company with minimal and insufficient details. An example being the aforementioned merger above. In the final years of the company, I did not directly speak to the CEO one-on-one in any capacity, only the COO weekly. This was likely due to the fact that I would be extremely critical about decisions made in the company and the lack thereof scaling in ways I believe made sense. The CEO had a habit of putting other staff in front of him when faced with adversity. An example of such was when they would often put other staff in front of talent for communication whenever possible, especially in the final months of the company where significant criticisms arose. It says dismissal and aftermath. On May 1st, 2025, I was called into a sudden meeting with members of the board where I was informed that my alleged position of CMO was being removed from the company, along with 4 other employee positions, one of which being the financial manager, as a cost-cutting measure. During this meeting, it was also conveyed to me that the COO would be stepping down for unknown reasons. It was agreed upon that a statement I would make publicly would be written in a way to make the departure look more favorable for the company and myself so as to not raise any alarm bells about the health of the company or create speculation. Given my growing distrust of the board up to this point due to the talent departures, I have recorded notes and transcripts from these meetings I have retained for my records. It would be nice to hear them, but okay. It says, about May 15, 2025, all of my access to company email I had was revoked, and I departed every server, Slack, and company-related software to move on and begin working on a personal endeavor. I assumed that the company would simply run out of money in a few months, would post a statement about closure, and I would be grateful that it was a good run. So at this point, the writing was on the wall that the finances were running dry. From this point, I began planning and working on my own non-VTuber project to launch in late July to early August and have it hopefully launched before the company would assumably go under or be sold. On July 2nd, I did a check-in with the CEO to see if anything that would be happening in the company that could conflict with the launch of my project. So this was July 2nd, 2025. This is a Discord screenshot. MowTenDoo says, hey brother, I have a little request for you. I have a pretty large forward-facing thing I'm working on this month that is slated for late July, early August. Can you keep me up to date on anything large scale that might be happening at VSHOJO around that time? Whether good or bad, company dissolution, new members joining, members leaving, company sale, etc. Need to have all that on my radar in case I need to move times and things around. Hope you've been well. And that says a direct message sent to the CEO. I was told to check in after Anime Expo, in which I did, and I was redirected to a new staff member that was allegedly hired after my release. I have censored their name as they were a new hire. In typical fashion, someone was to be put between myself and the CEO for communication and would not clearly tell me what was potentially going on. This is the final time I had any contact with the CEO. And then Gunrun says on July 10th, 2025, hey, MTD, connecting you with Do blank. He's been taking over for more VSHOJO leadership things. I can keep you better up to speed. And then MowTenDoo says, hey there. So just doing a check to see if there's anything upcoming negative news or like in the next 30 days or so I can prepare in advance as I look to launch a new public facing project in that window. And then this person Do says, I'd say the answer is probably yes. One way or another, there's going to be some negative stuff publicly. I can't say what. And it says a new group DM started connecting me with a new staff member. On July 1st, 2025, a statement went out about the company not paying out charity money that was owed to the IDF. The following message exchange can be seen shortly after. So this is on July 21st, 2025. Do says, well, Mouse just posted a thing without any advance notice, so heads up. MowTenDoo says, well aware from the large amounts of DMs and texts I'm getting. And then Do says, sad day. MowTenDoo says, can I get some context here as this is the first I'm hearing about any of this? And then Do says, VSHOJO owes a lot of money to talents. I don't know when you were involved with the company, but it's been ongoing / known issue for a year, ? And the charity payment is related. You probably have more context than me, I suspect. But also, I'm not sure what your relationship was with the company when VSHOJO ran out of money some time ago. It's been operating with what was supposed to be the talent money, hence causing the current situation. MowTenDoo says, I was never made aware of this being an issue from both CEO and COO. I was aware that there was financial issues, but not outstanding payment, especially for charity. And then MowTenDoo says, excuse me. Do says, like I said, I don't know what your relationship is or was or what your role was, but these issues have been ongoing for most of the past year as far as I know. Since sometime 2024, you'll have to ask Justin. I've been here for 3.5 weeks, so I'm just learning and navigating through this as best I can. Yikes, total meat shield. Okay, but let's continue. The exchange shows when I first became aware of this issue of unpaid charity funds, as well as what the funds the company was operating on. This was infuriating to me as it revealed financial misuse that had been hidden from me during my tenure at the company and was revealed after the fact. I have many opinions about the way the company was run over the years, as well as the decisions that were made by the board. I feel that one day I will share my opinion on the decisions that I believe caused the company to collapse financially, the things I would have changed structurally as the company was run, and some of what I feel was a sheer incompetence of the board. See, now would be a good time to share those things, but okay. I mean, like you literally have the Google document, you literally have people on the topic, but it's like, I'll share that another time. It's a little bit bizarre, but okay. Yeah, like hindsight's 2020, you know what I mean? Evidence retained. I retained supporting documentation, including but not limited to meeting transcripts and notes, corporate filings that show only the CEO and COO as board members, various contracts, a statement of information listing only the CEO and COO with no mention of myself as an officer. These materials confirm I was not a registered director of the company and likely not an officer despite the titles I was given internally. I also have former staff and former talent that can corroborate the things I have made clear in this statement, as well as a multitude of other individuals who can confirm these statements. Who are these people? In closing, once again, I would like to emphasize that my role in the company was not as broad as some have suggested. I was never given access to finances, nor was I ever part of a board level decision. My responsibility was limited to technology and marketing under the approval of the board. I was made aware that the company needed investments, but not that the talent funds were being involved in operations. I will continue to stand for those who were most impacted and assist however I can. I am still really excited for the things I have planned coming up, and I hope to show you all soon. This is a weird document, guys. I feel like this document said nothing really of importance other than legally on paper, I am not at fault. That's kind of what it seems like to me. And also it's just look out for my next project. Is this an advertisement? Like, is this not supposed to be a Google Doc? Like, it's kind of confusing. This is Expert Armchair, and Expert Armchair is a talking chair. And this was their statement on MowTenDoo's Google Docie. This was on Expert Armchair's X account. This is posted on August 27th around 1:32 a.m. An expert armchair says, points of interest. Confirms that VSHOJO was in the middle of pursuing a merger in 2024 that would have granted both Gunrun and Daniel Sanders a golden parachute totaling over $2 million each. However, MowTenDoo does not specify what company VSHOJO would be merging with. This may corroborate rumors floating around earlier this year that Brave and VSHOJO were previously in talks. I suspected it probably was Brave because they're the ones who are buying up everyone. But okay, let's continue. States that VSHOJO was entirely remote with no in-person office ever in use. States that his role were only listed as CTO and later CMO when the company appointed another staff member in the position of CTO. This staff member was presumably Fujiman, though he left sometime prior to the closure of VStream in March 2024. MowTenDoo states that he could not have had knowledge of financial misuse because of limitations of his role. He states that he was only aware that the company was running out of money, though he does not specify at what point he became aware of this. Fujiman's tweet responding to Gunrun's statement on the 25th of July, which stated that, while he was there, the company finances were, quote, such a mess I could almost believe him, Gunrun, when he forgot about the $500K was intended for. This would seem to indicate that members of C-suite, besides the CEO and COO, would have had cause to believe that the company had money troubles prior to March 2024. And so sidesteps entirely the allegations leveled by ex-talents that he engaged in slander and backchat against them after their departure from the company. Also does not touch on the claims of being reprimanded for making talents uncomfortable in DMs or alleged conduct during the VSHOJO parties. The closest thing the document does to addressing either of these points in a sentence at the start that states, I also have to consider action against those that have engaged in defamation against my character, ... And later, when MowTenDoo states, things such as information about talent's behaviors and the reason for talent departures was presented to me by the founders. This directly influenced my beliefs and feelings about the talents. I now believe, based on new findings, that the information presented to me was untrue. Overall, the document immediately comes off like more of a spurred executive complaining that he was left out of a room while the big boys tried on their golden parachutes rather than a genuine attempt at informing the public. MowTenDoo does, however, allude to possessing more useful information, though it remains to be seen if this will ever actually be shared. Agreed. Yeah. Just to give you some context, a little reminder here. But this was a VSHOJO's statement. This was back on July 24th of 2025 when VSHOJO had dropped the bomb. VSHOJO said, MowTenDoo got reprimanded for being creepy to us, LOL. Got told not to message us privately. So like he doesn't mention that at all in his Google document, which is very interesting. All right, but let's see what some people on Reddit are saying. A Ninja Lord says, basically the only thing this addresses is that he had no knowledge of the town's funds being used. Ignores a lot of the statements made by VSHOJO talents talking about how bad he was when he was employed with VSHOJO. Basically trying to salvage his reputation by saying he didn't do anything illegal and was not an accomplice. Yeah, just because it's not legally wrong doesn't mean it's not morally wrong, right? Like you knew stuff was happening, but okay. TM Na says, doesn't address the claims made by multiple VTubers that he is a creep and an a-hole. Anyways, guys, long story short, what do you guys think of this document that MowTenDoo released? Do you think it's helpful? Do you think it doesn't really say much? Let me know in the comments. Okay, guys, on to our next piece of Newsy news. This is Brave Group, and Brave Group, formerly known as Unlimited Inc., is a Japanese holding company dedicated to the creation and production of animated talent. The company owns many other businesses and definitely has bought up a lot of VTuber agencies. So why are we talking about Brave Group? Well, guys, looks like from buying all those VTuber agencies, they've gone into a little bit of a deficit. This is posted on the Kurosanji subreddit, posted by Mr. Pot, and it says, apparently Brave Group has incurred 2.1 billion yen deficit last fiscal year. They've announced a capital reduction to wipe out this loss by taking money from their 3.1 billion yen capital reserve. By the way, this is layman's analyst I got from Gemini since I'm not a business or accounting person. So this is the actual statement here. This is posted on gamebiz.jp and this is posted on August 27th. And it says here, Brave Group reduces capital for the second year in a row. Capital reduced by 1.233 billion yen and capital reserve reduced by 400 million yen. So it says here, Brave Group will be reducing its capital. According to the announcement of reduction of capital and reserves published by the official Gazette today, August 27th, the company will reduce its capital by 1.233 billion yen and its capital reserve by 400 million yen. The company also reduced its capital around this time last year. It says the company operates as a conglomerate engaging in a wide range of business, including IP, platform, esports, XR, DX, and incubation. The company also published its financial results showing a widening deficit with a final loss of 2.156 billion yen for the fiscal year ending September 2024, their 7th fiscal year. So let's see what some of the people on Reddit gotta say. Valkyrie says, with how many VTuber agencies they've been buying up, I am not surprised. Nighty Blaze says, time to buy another VTuber corpo to dupe more boomer/older millennial investors. So anyways, guys, whether or not Brave Group is going to recover from the deficit from buying all of these VTuber companies that they've bought in the past remains to be seen. Okay, guys, and that's it. That's the end of the VTuber Newsy news. However, I will be attending San Japan virtually. This is taking place at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center and San Antonio Grand Hyatt in downtown San Antonio in Texas on Labor Day weekend. San Japan is a fan-run organization providing an annual anime-focused convention. So guys, I'll be virtually walking around San Japan on the Saturday. So if you want to take a picture, have a meet and greet, ask me a question, please make sure to come find me at San Japan. Okay, guys, and also if you want to support me, head over to Throne. I am currently trying to crowdfund for this Elgato 4K capture card and also Metal Gear Delta that is coming out tomorrow. If you're able to support this Neko, I would really appreciate it here as well. Okay, guys? All right, and that's it. That's the end of the VTuber Newsy news. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you see, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And guys, if you are not able to watch me on Twitch, that is no problem. I have this YouTube channel called Lidia VTuber VODs where I back up all of my gaming, and I've probably played through some of your favorites. I just finished Metal Gear Solid 1, so you guys can see how I was able to beat Metal Gear using my fists. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Don't look at me. I'm just a box. Nothing interesting going on here. Nope, nope, nope. Just a bunch of shredding. Don't look at me, man. Oh, don't approach this. Don't approach the box. Don't approach the box. No! He stepped on me! Oh my god, he stepped on me! What a jerk! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, that could have been very important documents!